Especially for new developers, I definitely recommend using Shadcn UI. It's a component library where all of the source code for all of these common and useful components here are available to you in your source code. And so you'll be able to go in and customize these and change them as you find necessary. As you can see, we can use them for a multitude of different types of applications: dashboards, tasks, playgrounds, forms, music, authentication, etc. To get started, we can go over into installation here. You can also get there by going to the docs up here in the nav bar and then going to installation. In order to use Shadcn, we need to install it. Under frameworks, in this project, we're going to be using Next.js, so we're going to select that one. I'm also going to be using Node Package Manager NPM. It's pretty much the standard one that most people use and is the most common. So that's the one I'm going to be using for this tutorial. You're welcome to use whichever package manager that you'd like for your own project. In order to follow the directions here and run the command, you can either select over it like this and hit Control-C to copy it, or you can hit the little clipboard icon here to the right, which will copy it. We can then go into the terminal of choice and then paste our command in. Make sure that you're doing it in a valid Next.js project. If you do, it'll see here, say found Next.js. Also ensure that to use Shadcn, you also need to use Tailwind CSS. It's going to ask you what base color you'd like to use if you're interested. Slate, gray, zinc, neutral, and stone. Those are the options that they provide. And I would say that slate and gray are more bluish in their darker colors. All the whites are obviously white. And neutral and stone, I would say, have this kind of grayish brown color. And zinc is right in the middle. I'm a bit curious as to why zinc isn't the neutral one, but I'm just going to use the default neutral color. I feel like zinc should be neutral just because it's kind of the middle ground in between all of these, but who am I to judge? We have here a quirk with using Shadcn with the latest React 19. Don't worry about, all these warnings that come up. Just use -- force. If you're using a different package manager like Bun, you might not even see this. But here, it's just being a little bit more pedantic, if you will. It's being a little bit more thorough, if you will, in just letting you know that there are some peer dependency issues, but in actuality and in all the projects that I built with Shadcn, it's never been an issue. So you can just hit enter. It's now going to install the dependencies, which I believe the chief one is Radix UI and Lucid React icons. So we both have all of those two packages with our Shadcn install here. It's one of the things that you'll note. A project has Shadcn if you see this components.json. So we'll know that installation works if we see that. Also, another thing is if we cd into our source directory, you're going to see a library folder that's been put in there. And if we go in a library, there's a utils folder. Now, going back to the base, the root of our project here, we are going to need to install our Shadcn component. So if we go back to the documentation, docs, Next.js here, we can start to install things by doing npx Shadcn latest add. And if you wanted specific ones, you can go into, like for example, the button here. You can just scroll down a little bit and see the installation that you would do for each of them. They explain the usage, all of these. What I like to do for most of my projects, and really haven't had a problem in doing so, is just writing npx Shadcn add here. I do see that they have at latest. So if there's a specific version that you want to use, just provide the version number after @ for whatever reason. But we can do npx Shadcn @ latest and then do add. And if you didn't provide something, like here you provide button, you would just install the button. If you do just add like this, it'll pop up a little CLI menu here, and you can actually select which ones that you want to add. Use space to select the different ones. You can also hit space again to deselect them. You can hit A to toggle all of them, and that's what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be selecting all of them, hit enter, and we're going to be installing everything. It's going to have another React 19 force conversation here, and we're just going to hit enter. And now we're going to have access to every single one of these components to use in our project. Okay, opening up our project to take a look at some of our components. You're going to see here a very long list of all of the different Shadcn components. If we go in a button, you can see here that we can actually have access to the source implementation of the button using Radix UI here as a base. And yeah, if you wanted to change any of the variants, any of the tailwind styling for each of the buttons, you can do so. You can also add in extra variants, which in our projects we're going to be doing and adding a couple of them in as we need them. We have size here, so these with height, padding, and width, I believe. None of them seem to have width, except for size, which is size of 9 has both height and width involved in it. You can also change any of the base styling. So if you're not satisfied with any of these, you can just change it there. This gives you total control if you just want to use them the way that it is by default. You're free to do so. But if you're a little bit of a power user and you want to dig a little bit underneath the hood, you have access to all of them here. Now, what we're going to do is just run a little bit of an example here. If we go back to Shadcn UI here, you can see here a little create an account card here. And I think it would be really great if we could implement those and just show the power and the ease in which we can use these Shadcn components. So first, let's break it down and analyze what makes up this kind of login card, if you will. So first, there's the card itself. This little outline here is a card. And if we go into components, scroll down to card, you can see, right, that little outlined shape around our internal UI components is called a card. A card is made up of different parts. There's the header, a title, content, a little description, sorry, I skipped over description underneath the card title, and a footer. And so in this example, right, this would be the title, this would be the description. Both of these are within the header. Then you have card contents here in the middle, and then this might be part of the contents or might be part of the footer. Let's find out. Let's see here. Yep, so there's a footer with the button. So this bottom piece right here is the footer. And then I believe everything from the push notifications down. So let's look for push notifications. Push notifications here, yep, is inside of card content. So I think that would be a great place to start in implementing this create an account. So this is the title. This is the description. These will all go into the contents, and then create account will be in the footer. Every Next.js project starts with some boiler code here within pages.tsx. If we navigate over to the web page itself, this is what it currently looks like. So in order to implement what we want, that kind of login card, we're going to need to remove everything. We're going to remove image here. We're going to add in our card. We'll make sure that you're importing it from @components UI. Next, we're going to need our card header here. And then we need to provide in our card title, which will be create in account. Now, why don't we save this for now and take a look at how it looks within our web page. Uh-oh. Looks like it's not taking up what we would expect, right? The form and look of our card. It's kind of extended the full width of the screen, and it's all the way at the top. So we need to position it in the middle, as well as making the card a reasonable size, like in that Shadcn example. So what we're going to do is wrap our card within the div. Just going to stick that in there. And for our div, we're going to do flex, items, center, justify, center, min, height of screen, and width full. So that should put our card in the middle, but we need to specify a width for our card. I think a reasonable width would be perhaps around 350 pixels. We go back there. That looks about the same size as what we're expecting. You might be wondering why there's an inversion of color here. It's in dark mode. So if we were in light mode, like we are in our application, this is what it would look like. Next up, we need to add in the description here. So let's just copy this in, go back to our project here, do card description, paste that in there, go back. Cool, we have that there. Next up, our GitHub and Google buttons. So now we can put that inside of our contents, if I spelled it right. There we go. Then we're going to need a div here, class name, flex, items, center, justify between, and we're going to have two buttons. Whoops, make sure that you grab it from /UI, or /components UI button. We're going to need to, well, first, let's take a look at how it would look if we didn't style anything. So we provide GitHub here, then another button, capital B button, Google. If we save this and take a look at it, okay, we have a justified between, we have item centered, but it doesn't quite look like what we have here. So how can we do that? Well, one of the things we can do is probably provide a fixed width, so maybe 45% here, and do the same thing for this other button. So just copy this here, put that there. Cool. Now the widths look the same. This color matches the black button here, the default button, but these are inverted. And so the variant that provides that is outline. So we're going to do that for both of our buttons here. And if we go back, you can see GitHub and Google. We have our two icons here. Now, for icons, I would say that Lucid React does provide them, but I would prefer using, and I'll just do npm I here, React icons. Hit enter. Oh, you're going to see this a couple times when you're using Shadcn. We're going to need to do -- force. So cool. Everything is now in. We're going to do npm run dev to start back up our application. We need each of the icons, so we're going to grab GitHub here. So you can see that it's deprecated from Lucid React, and it does recommend using, let's see here, simple icons, but I would prefer using React icons instead. Doesn't look like it's automatically showing the import for those, so we're going to do import GitHub from what was it? At React icons? Or is it just React icons? There we go. /FA. And we need FA Google. Sorry, that's why it didn't pop up. The FA Google, or GitHub, sorry. And by using that, you can see here, let's see, refresh. we have here our little GitHub icon. And now for Google, I actually prefer a colored one, so import FC Google. And I guess that's not going to also auto pop in. So icon/FC. And if we provide FC Google here, a little colored version there. So if we just zoom in there, looks very clean and nice. A slight improvement, if you will, over the existing icons that they have. Next, we need to do the or continue with row there. So we're going to copy, well, not copy, but do something similar. What we're going to do is div here. We're going to do class name, flex, items, center, margin in the vertical direction of 2. Next, we're going to use the separator component, and there's a lot of different imports. The one that we want to use is the @/component/UI separator here. And we're going to just provide that. So if you look at that, how it looks right now, we have a little line going on underneath, similar to the line here. But we need some extra stuff in it, right? So we're going to provide a span here, class name, text of small, or continue with, and then add another separator. So what's going on here? Oh no, it doesn't fit correctly. We need it to look like that. How can we fix that? Also, these were in all caps, so I can just use uppercase, I believe, and that would make everything all caps. They also seem to be text muted foreground. I think they looked a little gray instead of, yeah, something like that. I think they were even smaller, so extra small the other direction. There we go. And what we can do to fix this, super easy, width of 75 pixels. So hopefully you guys enjoy my little over dramatic pretend mistakes there. Now, when we're providing this fixed width, we'd expect that to solve everything, right? That we've told the separator to be 75 pixels, and we should expect that the website should reflect it. But weird, it doesn't. Well, as it turns out, and this is a good showcase of the fact that you can go into Shadcn components and change them as needed, we're going to go into our separator here and find this interesting bit here, where it provides data orientation. When the orientation is horizontal, it's going to be width of full, and somehow that's overriding our hard-coded width value. So what we're going to do is just get rid of this and provide really quick orientation equals horizontal. Then we're going to have a height of 1 pixel and width of full, and height of full, width of 1 pixel when we're vertical. Oh, this needs to be in brackets. There we go. And if we close everything up, go back to our website, we can see, it looks better. We still need to align it correctly, so we can use justify center here to center it. Maybe add a little bit of spacing in between, a gap X of 2. So they're a little bit separated out, and that should make us look a lot more like the Shadcn example. Maybe I made the text a little bit too small with extra small. Let me see if small. I think extra small is more correct. Cool. There should be a little bit more padding, so I'm going to add in a 4 instead. Let's make sure. Yep. That looks about right. Okay, cool. So we can move on to the next part, which is to add in this email, this input field, password, and then finally the footer. Okay, for our next section, it's going to be another div here. We're going to provide class name. We're going to have a column because we're going to have things stacked on top of each other, the labels and the different inputs. So we're going to use, we can actually use the label component here to provide email. And if we just save it and take a look at it real quick, right, there's the label there, just like an email. Then we need the input. So we need the input. We're going to use the input component. And we just reorder these so they're in ABC order. Input, sorry. And we're going to do placeholder m/example.com. Type of email. Use a closing tag there. We're going to provide another label. And this one will be password. And then this one will have also another input, but there is no placeholder, and type will be of password. So not actually anything with the actual implementation. I'm just concerned about the UI. So these inputs don't really do anything. You can see there they are, and they mirror what we can see here in the Shadcn example. Lastly, we need the footer. So here we have card footer provided here. We're going to do a button, and we're going to do create account. And when we take a look at our button here, it looks valid. It's not quite what is provided here. We need to provide an extra styling to our button. Class name width of full. And if we go back, okay, great. Our thing looks pretty much the same, except for I think we have better icons. So just zooming in, make it look better, or look bigger. On this side too. Whoops. Okay, we lose it if I make it too big. So you can see there, that's the Shadcn example. That's our example. I think it all looks great. Hopefully you've now figured out how we can use Shadcn, and hope to see you use it in your own projects.